let's get into our next asana, the Tiryang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. So as I mentioned, like all the asanas gonna be start from this position, the stuff first. So now here for the Tiryang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, the variation of the leg, the knee is same like a virasana, the way we do the virasana. So we bend the one leg at the knee. So as you bend the knee, pull the ankle beside of the hip. So see what happened before to pressing the sitting bone down this position. I want you to just lean to the side a little bit and using the hand to roll the calf very nicely outward. Yeah. So as you roll the calf out, we make the space for our leg to flexing it completely so that it will allow us to reach our sitting bone down to the floor. Otherwise, we'll have the one side like tilting or buttocks will going upward, the hip become like imbalanced. So we need to label the hip in this position in order to fold in this position. So we have to press the sitting bone strongly on the floor. So for that it requires a little bit flexibility in our ankle, flexibility in our knee and our thigh as well. So the person those have a big calf muscles or a little bit of stiffness on the top of the knee or the quads muscle a little stiff, so it can give a lot of stretch on the knee or can be a little bit uncomfortable for the ankle in this position, like as we do virasana. So first let's check the how we can make our ankle and knee comfortable in this Tiryang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana, or also how we can label our hip in this position. This is a base, this is a foundation. So if the buttocks goes up, like we lean one side. So as you're working on the forward bend, all the body weight comes to the leg. So it's like become kind of a lateral movement, a side bending kind of. So we try to maintain forward bend. For that we have to really have to work on to labeling our hip in this position. So I want you one more time, please stretch your leg in front of you. So we'll start those have a tight ankle or is really stiff knee. So we'll assist them by using the blanket first of all. So see how we're going to use the blanket. Let me demonstrate you very quickly. So as we using the blanket for this position. So here we're going to sit on the edge of the blanket here. So I don't sit on the center of the blanket because I have to bring my ankle outside of my buttock. So here I sitting on the edge of the blanket or whatever you use, cushion or blanket or bolster according your need. So I sitting on the one edge of the blanket. So I bend my right leg at the knee and then I pull my ankle beside of my right buttock. So here, so before to again pressing the sitting bone down, I roll my calf out and pressing the right sitting bone down on the blanket. So the ankle, so first of all, if we're sitting on the edge of the blanket, we have a little bit height underneath the sitting bone, so which will be a little bit comfortable for the ankle. So here I have the whole weight comes to on the blanket here, my buttocks on the resting on the blanket, so I have a little bit like a 2-3 inches height underneath my sitting bone, so which will help me to reduce the pressure from my ankle. So first of all, only for them those having the issue with the ankle. So ankles comes close to the buttocks, the heel pointing upward and toes pointing directly backward. Let me show you clearly from the side. So as I sit on the sides of the blanket, my toes comes pointed backward in this position and the heel pointing upward. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning, before to pressing the sitting bone down here, nicely extend the calf. As we pressing the sitting bone down, I lean my body weight to the side, roll the calf out. So here the two movement we can add. First extension, pulling the calf outward, backward towards the heel, like trying to pull it back, and then rolling it a little bit outward by using the thumb. And then as you roll the calf, pressing sitting bone down, adjust the ankle nicely close to your outer buttock. So toes pointing backward. So the front of the ankle, the bottom of the shin bone nicely pressing on the ground in this position. So once you press the sitting bone down here, once you label your hip, then we will come to the knee here. We'll try to pull the skin of the knee a little forward to make our knee comfortable. Otherwise, we'll have a little bit of stress on the knee. So I'm using my finger, my hand, to pull the skin of the right knee a little bit forward. All right. Now let's see for the if somebody have the knee. You can, as you can see, my leg is completely like flexed in this position. So this completely flexion of the leg of the knee, sometimes it gives a little pressure for them, for example, or overstretch to our top of the knee, and those have really tight knee, especially the person those are running or those who have been doing a lot of squats. So it really make our muscles around the knee more stiff or more tight. So when we do this fold, completely flex our knee, which gives a lot of stretch to our knee. So for in this case, what we can do, we can increase, like as we flex the knee, here is a complete flexion, my heel's close to my buttocks, so it's completely flexed here. So two options, as I mentioned, rolling the calf out. The rolling the calf out will help them to reduce the pressure from the knee. Or the second option, what we can do, elevate the buttocks a little bit higher. So how we can elevate the buttocks? So we can use the brick for them. Can you please pass me the brick? So here, so I have a little bit more height in this position now. So see, as you can see, as I am sitting on the brick here in this position, so before my buttocks was a little bit more lower as I was using the blanket, or so now I have a little bit height, my buttocks are more higher in this position. So first action, buttocks goes more high. As much I take my buttocks more higher, for example, I take the break in the second label. So now not completely flex my knee in this position. I have a much more space between my sitting bone and then floor. So as we increase the height from here up, it will reduce the pressure from our knee as well. And also it's going to be very comfortable for the ankle and our toes in this position. Okay, now let's see to labeling the hip in this position. So we can use the blanket for underneath our sitting bone, or the brick, those have a really tight ankle, those have a really tight knee in this position here. So as we getting more height, it's going to make us more comfortable in a Tiryang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana position. So let's back again. So I take the blanket, I want you to please sitting on the blanket. So yeah, a little bit on the edge of the blanket, a little bit this side towards me, please, a little bit on the edge, yeah. So now we bend the left leg at the knee, we try with the right or left. So here, rolling the calf out, bring the ankle, pull the toes back towards the heel as you do the Virasana, but ankle resting on the floor. So when you're sitting on some height, like for example blanket or brick, so we keep the ankle always on the floor, not on the object we are sitting on. Like for example, you're sitting on the blanket, don't adjust the ankle on the. So what happens when you adjust here, it gives a little bit height underneath the ankle like that, for example. So it's the same thing. It really doesn't make a changes. You're sitting on the blanket on the floor. So we keep the ankle on the floor. So here you have a little bit space between the. Will help you to reduce the pressure from the ankle as you're sitting on the. Is okay now? Yes. So the hips are labeled in this position, knees are fine, but still somebody feel a little bit pressure on the knee, as I mentioned in the beginning of like in Ardha Baddha, the last previous asana, somebody having the stress on the knee, we have this cushion, still they can use the cushion back of the knee and then folding the knees and bringing the ankle beside of the hip. So it also will help us to reduce the little pressure on the knee, but here they can use the little cushion or brick underneath the sitting bone. So as you support your sitting bone in this position, it's much better if you're supporting the both sitting bone properly. Not only adjust the cushion underneath the buttock and then one buttock is hanging there, alright, it is stressing the knee. We have to be fully support for our knee, our left sitting bone here. So here what you're going to do in an asana is a forward bend asana. So we'll try to make a small space. Now let's come to the another point now. So once the knee, ankle are nicely readjusted in this position, buttocks are nicely grounded here. So we're gonna keep our knees like parallel to each other. So those have still somebody after the bending the knee, after the using the cushion blanket underneath the buttocks, still having the stress on the knee. So we can recommend them, we can suggest them to open the knees a little bit more out. Is okay. So as we open the knees more out, it will help us to reduce the pressure immediately from our knee. But yeah, those are comfortable here. We keep the knees like closer. So we'll try to keep the knees closer, like at least like one palm distance. So keeping the knees away from each other in this position. Like we can take the measurement like 5 inches away from each other, but they are parallel to each other. But make sure that both knees are in a one line, not one leg going out of the hip socket and one backward. So make sure that both buttocks in this position. For example, as I'm sitting, both buttocks has to be one line, not one back and one front. All right, it will change the completely effect then. So here we keep the right leg pointing up, same the way we did the Dandasana or the Padmasana. Now for this position, extending the heel and pressing the back of the heel on the floor strongly, and keeping the quads tight. Now here we're going to get into the asana. So I want you to take the arms up, stretch your arms high, longer arms, pressing the sitting bone strongly down. The root of the thigh is strongly pressing down, and stretch from the sides of the body as we always do. From the before to bend forward, we always work on the extension. Longer arms, stretching the hands up to the ceiling, And then as you exhale, bend forward, you can grab the foot here, interlock the finger or hold your wrist as much possible. Now if somebody cannot reach their hands in this position, so we can give them the strap. For example, somebody have really now first is about the knee and ankle, now we come to the thigh. As you work on the forward bend, it required the elasticity in our hamstring. So if somebody having really difficult to keep the leg straight or back straight or really stiff thigh, cannot lean forward, or having the roundness on the back, so to avoid that roundness on the back, we can use the strap. I give her the strap. So she can hold the strap with the both hand in this position. Hook the strap tightly. Instead to pushing the head down, we just pull the foot strongly backward, and then adjust the strap nicely on the top of the foot on the metatarsal region. So try to pull the strap, pull the ankle backward and lift your chest up, lifting from the sides of the body, chest up, shoulder moving back, and raise the sternum nicely upward and try to broaden the clavicle as much you can, like that. The starting position. So a concave back here, chest lifted up and strong back, and lift your chin upward, look upward as you do the Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, lifting from the anterior body and chin higher, look upward, breathe in. Now, as you exhale here, for those who have really tight thighs, so they will from here walking the hands a little bit forward, or the second option, they will try to bend the elbow with the extension of the anterior body. They will try to bend the elbows out and pushing the chest forward by looking forward very slowly, very gently. Yeah, walking the hands closer as if you stay comfortable. So you'll walk hands forward and bending the elbows to the side and trying to bring the belly over the thigh, chest over the knees, and bend over the right leg. Try to centralizing your right leg in this position, rolling the right leg internally as we do the Dandasana, and try to bend over the right thigh and lifting from the sides of the body in this position and keeping the shoulders backward, chest open and elbows high in this position. As you keep the elbows higher, uplifted upward, will allow you to make the more space from the sides of the body. You can stretch nicely from the sides of the body. Just stay there for a bit. Now, as you inhale, head up, straight back, look front. And then exhale, release your hand, and then slowly release your left leg. Now have a look here to the posterior body in this position before to go completely forward bend. So here as you see the practitioner sitting on the cushion, on the blanket or folded blanket or cushion. So both buttocks like in a one line here, and then toes is pointing directly backward in this position and heel pointing up, and ankle very close to the outer buttock, touches to the edges of the blanket if somebody using the blanket or cushion in this position. So using the blanket this way will help us to elevate the buttocks high and reduce the pressure from our knee, from our ankle, and as well as help us to label our hip, which is the more important before to get into the forward bend. Knee facing directly front, right leg straight like in Dandasana. So pressing the sitting bone firmly on the floor and then stay there for a bit. So this is the posterior view I want to show you before to get complete in the forward bend. Now we're gonna change the position. So we're gonna come into the sideways. So I want you to just stay here for a bit. Okay, so now we change a little view so that we can see from the sides of the body. So here, the same position we maintain, we have a little blanket which will be helping us to balance our sitting bone, keeping both them equally on the ground, not to one side lifted up, one side. Otherwise, what happens usually if we get the tilt in one side, so which side we get the tilt, that side of the body, for example, see is a bending with the left leg. So what happens? The left buttock goes up, so we make the sides of the body start to becoming shorter. So we are working on the forward bend. We have to maintain that sharp extension from the both side of the body nicely in order to fold our spine, in order to stretch our spine nicely. So here, as using the blanket, pressing the sitting bone on the floor. Now I want you to try to press the sitting bone and lift your arms up, look front, take the arms high, nicely stretch your arms up from the waistline to all the way to the fingertip, longer arms in this position, elbow straight, lift your chest high, fix the back ribs into the body and lift your floating ribs higher, and same time pressing the left thigh strongly on the floor in this position. Yeah, keep the brain in this position, press the left buttock strongly on the floor and lift from the sides of the body. Now as you exhale from here, keep pressing here and then bend forward, bend forward, bend forward and grab your right foot. You can interlock the finger, hold your wrist as you feel comfortable. So now just come up, look front, starting position, lift your chin higher, look front, and again before to bend forward again and again, I will remind you here that you have to work on the left hip, pressing the left hip strongly on the floor. So I place my one hand on the root of the thigh here. So usually what we do, we're using our thumb to hook the root of the thigh and rolling the thigh a little bit outward. So pressing that left hip strongly on the floor. So this pressure, so what I did here, I use my thumb, the web of the thumb, root of my thumb on her root of the thigh. I hook here and using my forefinger, like rolling her thigh a little bit out and pressing down this position. So when we make this action, it will help us to balance her sitting bone nicely. It will give her a strong grip or firmness in this position before to work on the forward bend. So I'll try to maintain a little bit pressure. I press from here or a little bit up on the waistline. It's going to be a little bit similar effect as I'm pressing from here. But before to get into the asana, I want you to lift from the front part of the body again, work on the anterior body. Yes, lifting the chest high, lift your head up, chin up, look front, and longer spine. Inhale. Now, as you exhale in this position, keep looking front, lift front and bend the elbows to the side, and by yourself slowly as much possible, completely fold forward and just look at you, gazing the big toe in this position, avoiding the pushing the head down here. So I'm using my hand to like keep pressing her left sitting bone constantly in this position and trying to make the spine long. I will make her aware that you have to lift from the sides of the body, stretching, lifting from the anterior body, moving the ribs forward. Now I'm going to use my other hand to push a little bit forward, not pushing downward in this position. So I place my hand on the floating ribs. Inhale. I maintain the pressure. As you exhale, I'll try to push a little bit forward in this position. So one action I can do like that from my kneeling position, or another action I maintain the same pressure here. I need a more force here. I place my hand on her back and will use my leg a little bit here, my knee strength here to push a little bit forward in this position, to lifting, making her spine a little bit longer. Inhale and exhale. Or another option we can use, just if the hip is stable in this position already because we have the blanket. So I use like a working her to make a forward bend nicely. I place my hand on the floating ribs. Inhale. As you exhale, I try to push her forward a little bit, moving her ribs forward. You bend the elbows, keep the elbows high, and you're gazing the big toes in this position, which will help us to make the spine more and more longer. You take a few breaths here. Then inhale, head up, straight back, look front. And then exhale, release your hand. And then slowly lean your body to the right side and release your left leg. Stretch your left leg in front of you. Just shake your leg, move your leg, completely relax your leg.